Hello and welcome to Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through big news across Canada.
Ontario Parks offers 1,500 to 2,000 summer employment opportunities for students to contribute to environmental protection and cultural heritage education. Fifth suspect arrested in 2021 attack on Illinois Hashtamari. Toronto forecast calls for more snow after nearly 50 centimeters falls in 2 weeks. 2 suspects sought in connection with attempted armed kidnapping in one. Ontario takes a step toward legislature renovations with proposal for new ministry. Education advocates raise concerns about proposed TDSP staffing reductions as special COVID-19 funding runs out. Don't let public health fall victim to boom and bust cycles, Ontario's top doctor.
These were the headlines and let's jump right into the details.
In today's news, the Ontario Parks has announced its Summer Employment Opportunities program for students, offering between 1,500 to 2,000 open positions across the province. As the largest employer of students in Ontario, Ontario Parks provides an opportunity for students to contribute to the protection and operation of Ontario's 340 provincial parks. The program offers diverse positions that support environmental protection, sustainable outdoor recreation, and cultural heritage education. As part of the Ontario Public Service, Ontario Parks is committed to building a diverse and respectful workplace, providing students with valuable training and job experience for future careers at Ontario Parks or elsewhere.
Hi, I'm David Piccini, Ontario's Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks.
Hi, I'm Jill Dunlop, Ontario's Minister of Colleges and Universities.
We're here to tell you about jobs available to Ontario students this summer at Ontario Provincial Parks.
It's a great way to build your skills and gain work experience for your future career,
while helping preserve and protect Ontario's natural environment.
If you're between the ages of 15 and 24, we have a variety of positions available at Ontario Parks,
located all across our beautiful province.
From jobs in business, finance, communications, or customer service,
to working in the great outdoors while enjoying nature.
For more information, visit the Ontario Parks website.
We hope to see you this summer at Ontario Provincial Parks.
Ontario took another step towards renovations of legislature Tuesday, proposing to create a new ministry to oversee them. Legislative Affairs Minister Paul Calandra introduced a bill and established a Queen's Park Restoration Secretariat, saying it will create the foundation on which a comprehensive and long overdue restoration can be completed. The bill would also provide for temporary relocation of legislature to another building while renovations are underway. Calandra said the location should still be in some same general area and work will begin to put out calls for available space. There are a lot of considerations, Calandra said, not just the size required, security, accessibility, parking, for example. The building known as Queen's Park is 130 years old and staff in charge of the building and assembly have raised concerns with lead pipes and asbestos running through the walls, mountains of old cables and wires stacked on top of new ones, an inefficient steam heating system with parts that frequently fail, and fire safety systems in need of upgrading. It has been estimated that a project of this scale could take 8 years. The legislature has been getting by with repairs so far, but a report from more than 10 years ago concluded that a full replacement of all major systems is needed, including better fire protection as well as electrical, IT, plumbing, and heating and cooling systems. Under the legislation, Calandra, as Government House leader, would also be in charge of the new ministry. Ontario can't let public health preparedness fall by the wayside again once COVID-19 fades away from the memory, because the arrival of the next pandemic is not a question of if, but when, the Chief Medical Officer of Health said in his annual report. Dr. Kiran Moore released a report Tuesday, the first one from that office since the pandemic hit, and in it he stressed the need for Ontario to maintain its investment in public health preparedness, including in workforce testing, surveillance, and addressing socioeconomic inequities. It seems impossible that we could forget the hard lessons that COVID-19 taught us about the importance of being prepared. But history has often proved otherwise, the report said. People may not want to hear about another pandemic right now, Moore acknowledged, but it is important in the long term. I was on the expert panel of SARS-1 in 2004 and saw the enthusiasm of government to create Public Health Ontario to improve all our responsiveness, but then the interest faded relatively quickly within 3 to 5 years, he said in an interview. Moore said he plans to publish a separate annual report starting in about October on the state of the province's pandemic preparedness. Among the priorities highlighted in Moore's report are to strengthen testing, surveillance, and data systems. During the pandemic, some progress was made to integrate vaccination and case and contact management data, but the resulting system, COVAX, can only be used for COVID-19, the report said. It couldn't be adapted for Mpox, formerly known as monkeypox, when it emerged last year. COVAX set the standard by which all vaccine information should be available for all Ontarians, and the government is working diligently to bring that to fruition, Moore said. The next piece is having the electronic data from laboratory testing feed into our case and contact management system, and that is progressing well, he said. As well, the province doesn't have systems to automatically report hospitalizations and deaths of people with diseases of public health significance, the report said. COVID-19 test requisitions were also being completed by hand, leading in some cases to delayed or missing results, the report said. Another priority in the report is ensuring health equity. Communities with a low socioeconomic status or with a high proportion of immigrants, Black people, and other racialized populations had a higher incidence of COVID-19 cases and deaths and faced greater barriers to accessing COVID-19 vaccines, the report said. Ontario should develop systems to support the responsible, respectful collection, linkage, governance, and use of health outcome data, including information such as age, gender, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, language, income, and occupation to help the public health sector identify and address health inequities, the report said. As well, the public health sector doesn't have adequate search capacity, the report said. The workforce needs to be cross-trained in skills such as vaccination, case and contact management, and infection prevention and control, so all workers can step into those roles in need to be, the report said. The Toronto District School Board is poised to eliminate hundreds of staff positions due to expiry of special COVID-19 funding from the province, prompting concerns from education advocates. The Minister of Education gave the school board more than $30 million in funding through the COVID-19 Learning Recovery Fund in each of the past 2 school years, which allowed the board to create an additional 485 school-based staff positions. But that funding is set to expire in August. In a report considered by the board on Monday, staff warned that without additional funding, the TDSB may have to eliminate those positions next year. Ontario Education Workers United, an advocacy group that supports increased education funding in the province, says this proposed staffing reduction comes at a time when students can't afford to have less supports in school. This week, we heard about the abysmal state of mental health support and the increasing violence in schools. Yet, here is what the TDSB is considering, the group wrote on Twitter. We must say no. The proposed staff reductions were included in the TDSB Finance Committee report presented at a special board meeting on Monday. If the changes are adopted, next year TDSB budget would account for 20 fewer secondary school guidance staff, 35 fewer special education support staff, 40 fewer school-based safety monitors, and 35 fewer child and youth workers. This comes on the heels of the report released late last month by the non-profit People for Education, which suggested that public schools in the Ontario are facing a mental health crisis and that more supports are needed for both students and staff. It found that many students across the province continue to struggle with the after effects of the pandemic, including increased behavioral issues, difficulties with self-regulations, and other unaddressed mental health challenges. The Ministry of Education says it made it clear to the TDSB in February of last year that the one-time COVID-19 funding would not be renewed beyond this year, but a ministry spokesperson says the provincial government continues to fund education at the highest levels in our province's history. Despite the recommendations by the TDSB Finance Committee, board spokesperson Ryan Bird says no final decisions on next year's budget have been made. However, other factors may also influence staffing allocation in the finalized budget, as the TDSB is forecasting a deficit of $61 million due to ministry funding gaps in a number of areas. By law, the board is required to balance its budget each year by the end of June. This sentiment is echoed by many board trustees, including Shelley Laskin, who represents Ward 8 in Clinton Lawrence, and Toronto St. Paul's, who urge the public to direct their frustration about staffing reductions to the ministry rather than TDSB. If cancels pandemic funding, the TDSB used to hire staff, there will be staff reductions, and that is why we raised this at our February. The public needs to know. Just direct your outrage where it belongs, she wrote on Twitter. More snow has been forecast for the Greater Toronto Area in the coming days, adding to the nearly 50 centimeters that has already fallen in the city over the last 2 weeks. Both Environment Canada and the Weather Network are calling for snow in the city over the weekend and into the week, with a maximum estimate of about 8 centimeters of accumulation over the span of 4 days. As of Tuesday, the city is still cleaning up after regions of GTA saw 20 to 30 centimeters snow and thunderstorms overnight Friday. City Hall declared a major snowstorm condition on Saturday as crews worked to clear roads and sidewalks. Toronto isn't quite done with winter weather yet. During the week, temperatures are expected to stay mild and skies overcast. Then on Friday, snow makes its way into Toronto's forecast again. The Weather Network says the city could see 1 to 4 centimeters of snow between Friday and Saturday, then an additional 3 to 7 centimeters from Sunday to Monday. Environment Canada has Friday and Saturday forecasted to be cloudy, but is also predicting flurries in Toronto on Sunday and Monday. Overall, up to 6 to 8 centimeters of snow is possible for Toronto over the weekend. Mid next week, temperatures are set to rise above zero with a mix of light snow, sun, and clouds predicted.
Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a good night.